Once you have that, I want you to, in the what section, put the amount of commissions you want to make and add a 10% commission rate. Let's say on every offer is probably 10%. So let's say how much you have to collect for that. Now, the why can be done in your own time of when you want.
Mhm.
Mainly what we need is the how. So the how is going to be what we actually need to get there. So yeah, so let's go with sales calls that you need per day. Let's put an average of 5 sales calls on a decent offer. Booked. Cool. Out of those 5 calls booked, we're probably going to have 3 shows. So
Mhm.
put 3 calls showed. Just put 70% show up ratio, just so we have a data number that we can actually track. So 70% show up ratio. Get an offer or have an offer that at least has a ticket price of anywhere from 5 to 10K, ideally. 5 to 10K has to be your ticket price. And your average cash collected per deal closed needs to be at 7K. That means you'll collect some 5Ks, you collect some 10Ks, but on average, the total will be 7K you'll be collecting from every call you have. Okay. That you close.
Mhm.
Your closing ratio needs to be just start at a minimum. Don't go too high. We'll say 20%. How many days a week do you work?
We work every day of the week except Sunday.
21 actual taking calls. Sorry, 84 taking calls. Out of those 84 taking calls, you're going to close 20%, which means you're closing 16 calls at an average cash collected of 7K. That puts you at your goal. So it's $117,000 in cash collection that you'll receive with $700 as well, if you can count that. So when you put it that way, you only need to close 16 people in the whole month. That's not even one a day. That's one every 2 days.
Mhm.
You need to close someone. And if you have a good day, you close 2 people out of those 5 or 3 in your calendar, or 3.5 that you're taking every day. Right? So do you see how your goal is very actually easily attainable? Because you have 84 calls, bro. You only need to close 16 out of 84 calls. It's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
So essentially, with that being said, it's more about, okay, now that we have that number, it's how do we actually attain that number in terms of offers. So cool. So if you go down a little bit, and we're gonna put RGA section here.
Okay.
So again, this is what I told you I did, that when my skill set wasn't amazing, that like scaled me super hard my first month. And this is revenue
Yeah.
generating activities. The first thing I want you to do is like you want to be every offer typically has, unless it's a stupid offer, they have like a couple packages. They don't just have one, they have an opportunity for you to upsell them to the higher packages. So you consistently want to be going after current clients and looking to upsell them to the next program. Like that's one of the easier sales than new people, right? But easier to find too because they're in your CRM very easily. So you want to call them, right? You want to make calls and outbound calls to them.
Wait.
On top of that, you want to outbound the list. Like the list that you get calls booked on and SDRs book calls for you, you also want to outbound them because realistically, you're only working 3.5 hours a day. What else can you be doing that's a money producing activity? You actually want to outbound the list. So this list can contain of the new people. This list can contain the people who no showed you. This list can contain the people who you never closed. You maybe close or you had a call and you didn't close. This is a different RGAs that we can do to like just put ourselves in a better position, always doing money producing activities. And then also we then want to start creating referrals for ourselves. So every time we have a call, we want to say, hey man, do you know anybody who could possibly benefit off this? Create a group chat with that
Mhm.
person and consistently look for a referral, right? So with these 3 things on top of the calls that you're having, because this is going to add an extra 2 opportunities a month or 2 to 3 opportunities a month that you're adding on your, or sorry, a day that you're adding on your calendar. If you do this, if you do 200 calls outbound on top of you closing 3.5 deals, that means maybe 7 hours work in total, 7 hours, right? Not that much. You can do 7 hours of work, which is typically what someone does. And then you do that, you should have an extra 3 calls on your calendar, which means you only actually have to have a close rate of 10% to get to 10K. You see? So it makes it
Mhm.
even easier. So you need to close 1 in 10 people you speak to because you're gonna have 6 opportunities every single day on your calendar that you can actually close. So that's one aspect of it, right? And the second aspect is obviously RGA. The second aspect is training that you need to do to actually get there. So just down below RGA, put training.
Yes, yes, Nathan. I don't want to like jump the gun and assume anything, but what did you kind of talk about in this conversation? We just talked about.
You should never ask that question because it seems like you're unprepared and like again, you have zero context of what they spoke about. So it doesn't seem again he's gonna lose trust in the company if you're asking like, oh, what did you guys speak about? When he's like, well, I just spoke to him. He's in your company. He should probably give you the details. I understand you may not know the details. You just don't go into that. Just be like, yeah, no worries at all. And then just kind of take it like a full sales call, full setting process, closing process. You get me? That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Just because it loses trust in the company and you as a salesperson. If you're like, oh, I never spoke to the guy, it just shows that you're unprepared. And the second, it's gonna just make him feel untrustworthy.
No, he's basically just saying like, hey, are you serious about it? What are your goals? Like, are you willing to actually like put money down? Like, are you actually serious? It's kind of basically, and then you're just talking through like, what I've done.
Yes, this guy seemed like he had money. He was ready to invest.
He did have money.
But
I wanted to look at the objection handler for this, but I am free to look at the
yeah, we
entire
can.
thing.
We can go over objection if that's what you feel like would be better for you. Definitely, I feel like some objections are cause and discovery, true things that you say or may not
Oh, I
ask.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree. After today's call, yeah, I realized that
yeah.
it could have been prevented as well.
There you go.
Or, you actually start, but before we get you onboarded, it would require a one-time investment of 3K. We usually do like crypto. We usually do debit card.
You never want to mention crypto as your first ever payment method. It does seem super
Yeah.
fucking scammy when you're mentioning crypto. It's like it's just gonna build that wall because, like, again, especially with crypto being so new, people are like, "Why do I need to do crypto for this?" You know, seems sketchy. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely won't make a decision on the call. Let me digest it. That's great. Yeah.
Right? Like for you, how would you like to proceed from here? I definitely wouldn't make a decision right here on the call. I definitely let it digest for a second, but that's fine. Just can I ask you a personal question? Yeah. Like money aside, would you do it?
Don't say can I ask you a personal question because money aside isn't really a personal question. You get me? So can I
Yeah.
ask just super simple things that will just help you with overcoming these objections?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Why would you do it though, like personally though?
For you personally.
For all the I feel like I'm just repeating myself a lot, but just for all the reasons I said.
Okay. Resistance. You either throughout discovery, which I feel like this is easily cost you discovery, you either followed the script too much. So you weren't working off the principles, you were working off the script. So your issue here is that you were just looking at the words in the script and he was probably giving you the answers and you just kept asking the same question because you just were looking at the script. And that's a big issue. They lose so much trust if they feel like you're just asking them questions like a questionnaire rather than like listening to their answers and then going to the next question. You get me? Because the amount of times I skipped through answers on the script because the prospect already gave me that answer. Because if I ask that question again, knowing that I'm going to get the same answer, the prospect is going to lose trust. So this is very important to understand. Like, okay, yes, we have a script. That's cool, but don't look at the script. We have to really understand the outcomes we're trying to get at the script. When we get that outcome, maybe we get one outcome earlier than we were expecting. We don't go back over that outcome multiple times. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, where like the insanity case for me and seeing his transformation, like that's why.
So I can see there's resistance already. And he didn't seem resistant at the beginning. It was caused for the call. So the wall that he has right now towards buying, it's something that you've like caused with either something you said, did not ask, or something that you made.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's why.
So
Yeah.
if that's the case, then
Yeah.
do you feel like it'd be more beneficial if we were to go back to the beginning of the call?
It could be. I think let's watch because I want to see your skill set in general. Like again, when someone has a wall,
Okay.
I mean it's impossible to close them. Like I'm sure you've seen the guy I closed who said, "I'm not buying even if you give me a free card at the end of the call." Right? Did I have resistance then? No. Did I close them? Yes. So it isn't like it's unclosable, but it's closable. It's just like how do we lower the guard? Are we just following a script?
Yeah.
Close him. What are we doing to lower his guard here to make sure we're actually and he feels like we're helping him? You know?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So is it less about like that and more about like a money thing? Is it fair to say it's more like a logistical money thing then? Yeah, I would just want to see that obviously like his results speak for himself, but like he didn't have like dark eye circles like me, you know what I mean? So like I'd like to see that specifically has like a regimen that this is something that we're experienced with. So I think just seeing that,
So his objection is uncertainty if he's going to get the result, right? So it's less about the money, it's more about the uncertainty. Now, the issue you had here is you went straight to like the logistics of the investment when it wasn't really the real objection. The real objection was the uncertainty and fear, right? Like, hey, am I going to get the result? So remember, we want to ask the question, hey, man, is it more like I don't have the investment, I can't do it, or more like uncertainty around the investment? We ask that question because it leads to the only two objections we have left, which is fear or money. Now, the issue here, we didn't ask that question, which is fine. He still gave us, we got very lucky here where he still gave us the objection. It's now how we overcome the concern because he's being open and honest with you and giving you the exact concern he feels like it is, right?
Yeah.
Just have money and then it's just that, you know what I mean? Yeah, fair enough. So when it comes to the investment, that's the easiest thing for me to take care of.
Yeah, so we're going back over the investment when the real objection's fear. You get me? If he knew he couldn't fail, would he invest in it? Yeah, right? So the biggest issue is that he's uncertain that he's going to get the result because he's ginger or something, or his eyes aren't dark, right? Whatever it is. So it's more about like, okay, we got to get him to believe that he's going to get the result through the reframes and things that we say. but we're not targeting the real objection here. This is where we're losing the prospect. Because the longer you don't target the real objection, the more you're losing.
What I can't help is like,
Yeah.
like
So that's more of like, hey, I'm following the script rather than hey, I'm listening to the prospect. You see, so I can see this consistently
Yeah.
throughout the whole call.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say memorize, memorize, memorize. Because if you're just asking questions on the script, you're not actually internalizing what they're saying. Like he's telling you, hey, I have a fear objection right away, and we're going to money rather than fear. You get me?
Yeah, yeah.
okay. So for you then personally, is it more that you don't have access to the 3K, or is it just a little bit of uncertainty around the investment itself?
Like, are you saying for not saying yes right now and pulling out my wallet?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, yeah, I just don't do that. I don't make decisions like off a cuff like that. I like to like let it digest. So it's just a decision-making process, how I do things. I let it process before I pull the trigger.
For sure, but and I don't put that to the side. What I want to make sure is like, is this something like you wouldn't be living off of beans and rice, would you, if you were to invest in this, would you?
No.
Okay, so when it comes to like, what's kind of behind that uncertainty then? When it comes, what's kind of
I can also see you have a lack of conviction in the conversation. Why is that?
You know, it's the first time I've ever been told that.
I feel like you seem
When
nervous.
I really and truly, I think it comes down to self-belief in like the program itself.
Yeah,
I think that's where it could stem from.
sure, 100%. Apart from the program itself, because like yourself as a salesperson, you should also have belief in your process and yourself. Seems like you're a little bit nervous though, right? Which
Okay.
is nervous because you don't feel like he's going to get the results through the program. Is that what you're saying?
Perhaps.
Okay, because I just want to understand. Because again, if you're nervous, that's a more of an internal issue that I want to fix with you too. Because if you're
Yeah.
nervous and that shows up in the prospect, they're going to not take you as a trusted authority, right? Because someone
Yeah.
that's a trusted authority, you when you think of that term, you think of someone who's confident, right? Someone who's
Yeah.
highly spoken. So in this conversation, I feel like you're more nervous and timid rather than confident, which is not
Okay.
going to be viewed as a trusted authority. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, seeing that someone that there's like a regimen for someone that in similar cases me, like with my specific case and what I'm looking for dark eye circles. That's with holding. That's another thing that would be encouraging to see. Like, oh yeah, look, here's someone that we did, or like, oh, here's something that we would do that you probably haven't done. Like, I think that's just another potential bottleneck on that decision making process.
Sweet, I understand that. And you mentioned something really important about like 30 seconds ago. You said that's not the way you typically make decisions. Can you elaborate on that just so I could get a better, more context?
Yeah, I just feel like making and just making an investment in yourself. Like I think you gotta, for me, especially like when I've done treatments on this myself, it's like buying like a $20 ointment, or something like that. This is like, oh, here,
yeah,
$3,000. Like this is like a much bigger step. Like I would want to make sure that I'm like thinking clearly and like think it over a few days before I pull any triggers like that. Because like, wow,
So you can go back to, and I can see where you're coming from. I guess, is this something that like we're on a conversation today to speak about, or is this something that we've had and been thinking about a year about fixing our appearance in XYZ so we can actually get the XYZ goal? But you just reframe what he means by that. Because you can just go into like, well, what if it wasn't what you thought it was? Because what you're saying is that you're faced with a decision today. What if it wasn't that you're faced with a decision today? What if that you already knew you need to make a change a year ago and you're finally on a conversation to change it today? Now, for you to get a different result, do we need to do things the same way? Or do we need to start doing things differently? You see? Then you can go
It took me so long to get to that. Like I wish if I just said it right there and then.
Yeah, right away. You see?
You're laying on rice and beans, but it's still like, it's a significant investment.
Yeah, and I'm not asking you to make a decision based off of the person you are right now. I want you to be thinking like the person who is already able to put themselves in a better position for themselves and their family to be able to feel more socially confident. If you knew that you wouldn't fail when it comes to actually getting the regimen, getting the proven steps to be able to look your best.
So one thing I always advise when you're using the frame of not the person who you are, but who you want to be, you never use that frame at the very beginning of objectioning. You first want to get them bought in before you start using that frame. Because that is like one of our, like, I like to say it like the arrows in your back, right? We only have so many arrows that we can shoot throughout a sales conversation.
Yeah.
And it's very important to keep, because you're going to seem very repetitive if you say it now, then you say it again, then you say it again, then you say it again. That's why it's important to, like, I always want to listen to their tone and their body language, how bought in they actually are before I ask that question, and be deep into fear objectioning before I start asking. But the person who you want to be like, what would he do? That's why it always lands for me when I do it, because I wait to hear their tone, their body language. Where for you, if you're just asking at the very beginning when he's super not bought in, He's obviously
Yeah.
going to say no, and now you're going to try to ask it again in 30 minutes, and he's probably going to say no
Mhm.
again because it's more of a repetitive question. It seems like a sales tactic, you see? So that's a
Yeah.
little
Mhm.
comparison you can make.
Best
I
and really
agree.
best. Would you do it?
Yeah, if I was like reassured, like, hey, yeah, we know exactly for your situation, like we
Yeah.
know the exact thing and what
And that's another thing you didn't do, right? It's like he's saying, it's like, hey, if you told me, hey, like we know exactly for your situation that we can help you, I would just go back to like, why do you feel like we couldn't help you? We have hundreds of people that we've helped,
Mm.
different skin colors, different XYZ. Why do you feel like you're so different?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't. Right. Because there's people that came in with ginger hair, blue eyes, and I've gotten the result they're looking for where they feel more confident, they feel better about their life. So what makes you feel
Yeah.
like I don't feel like I'm different at all? Got it. So at the end of the day, it just comes down to more you internally then. And then you can
Yeah.
now start putting it on him and getting to understand the fear. Because I understand you're making a big decision, you're making an investment. That's a big step for you, something you haven't done before. Going back to what I mentioned
Mhm.
earlier, get a different result. We gotta start doing things well differently. Right. So when you're faced with fear, you have two options. You gotta let it overcome you or you overcome it. But it's like you're on a bridge. On one side of the bridge is where you are now, not confident XYZ, and then you can start using that analogy. You see?
Yeah.
So you can start framing it that way. But
It
now
just took me so much time to get to that.
yeah,
Actually,
you
you're
can
so
see
quick on it.
he's told you because he's clearly right there. Hey, no one's reassured
Yeah.
me that they've worked with someone like me. So he's just scared, right? Same thing. People
Yeah.
come with Jeremy Minor. No one's told me that you guys have worked with someone in my industry. Well, of course we fucking have, right? So I just give them that reassurance and that confidence so they feel like, okay, yeah, this guy has. All he's looking for is words of affirmation here and confidence that he could like if he had confidence, he would do it. He just needs that little bit of
Mhm.
confidence to do it. Less about the reframing, more about the confidence. That's why I really feel like
Mhm.
being in the conversation is so important because you're listening to what he's saying. When you listen to what he say here, now you can start adding things based on his language.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
I never
I
have
agree.
the same objection handling every single time. You see my conversations. It's never the same. Yeah, things are similar because I use the frames,
Yeah.
but it's always different wording that gets me to the outcome based on what they're saying and what they're actually meaning. You know? So it's
Mhm.
important to understand that nuance.
what you're gonna do. And like I
Yeah.
was reassured with that, like, oh yeah, here's like maybe a picture or whatever, like whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would, yeah, looking back at like if you were to look back at it or look in the future and then look back at yourself, like, yeah, for sure I would do that.
Yeah, and you for sure do it because you knew that you can do it. But at the end of the day, right, I go ahead, I could put this conversation for a day from now, a month from now, you could go do your own research, I could go do my own research. But you're always gonna be hit with two things there. It's gonna be fear and adversity, brother. Like
Analogy, get him to understand why he won't ever get that certainty. So get him to
Okay.
understand it. So maybe you could use analogies like, okay, let's say you know Harvard, right? Yeah, I know Harvard. Like the best school in the world where you get like the best qualifications. Are you guaranteed a job when you get out of Harvard? No. Why? Because nothing can be guaranteed in life. Exactly right. So what you're looking for internally is that like, yes, I do this, I'm gonna get XYZ result. The reality is that you'll never know. But we have hundreds of people
Mhm.
that have. So what makes you so different? Then you go back to getting him to understand his uncertainty, getting him then to understand that we have similar cases of similar people that we've helped, and then we go into our analogy of overcoming his fear. You see how you like do that pattern?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
and for you, like there's always gonna be two types of people in a situation. There's the first person that lets the fear and adversity overcome them. Or there's the second person who overcomes it head on to be able to put themselves in a better position to look and feel their best when it comes to their appearance. For you, which person actually feels like hits their goals quicker, so they can actually put themselves in a better position to hopefully one day, find like that compatible partner as well.
Like who, so the question is who is gonna get more success, the person that doesn't try versus the person that does try? Is that what you mean?
Who sees the success, the one who lets the fear overcome them, or the one that overcomes the fear and adversity head on?
Oh, definitely the latter.
But why not the first person though?
That's a dumb question. Why not the first person? Just why do you feel that way though? Right? So
Yeah.
don't ask why not the first person. That's just look, you can see his facial expression change completely. Do you see?
Yeah.
Right here. He's like,
It's
what if
weird.
this guy's asking me super rhetorical questions. So he's getting annoyed
I
now.
agree.
Like you were
Yeah.
having him a little bit, you were getting him a little bit butted, and now the guard's up again. It's gonna
Yeah.
be even
It's like
harder.
taking one step forward, two steps back.
Exactly right. Yeah.
The person who lets it overcome them.
Because they're giving in, they're giving up, they're settling like I said, I don't want to do so, right?
And when they give you good language, you reward that language, and you're smart for saying that. You see? So again, we want to reward the
Mhm.
language when they give us good language when they're not attacking us. So these things become a pattern in the conversation that they continue. And this goes back to the very beginning of the conversation. When they give you good rewarding language, you reward them,
Mhm.
right?
Fair enough. And
Mhm. Yeah.
and at the end of this conversation we're having right now, it's like you're on a bridge, right? And on one end of the bridge there's the version of you who understands that there are some flaws that you want to work on. But on the other end of the bridge is the version of yourself who wants to be able to, and is already taking the step to do the right regimen, get the right help to be able to put himself in a better position so he could feel his best, get that compatible partner. And the reality of the situation is this conversation is just like a middle ground. I can't cross the bridge for you.
You'll notice here, JP, that
Reassurance.
when I did future pace, I didn't get deep enough to have enough leverage to give him outcome based thinking here. Because the only thing that the deepest thing was like find a compatible partner, but I didn't have enough leverage here as well to kind of
So
like
when-
connect the two. So
What did you, so that he said that to you, what follow-up question did you ask to get deeper? When he said, I want to find a
So-
compatible.
so then I didn't ask him what would I
Yeah.
do for you personally or anybody else, and that's what brought me
Regardless
to
of
the
that,
end
like,
there.
what's behind you wanting a compatible partner so badly? Oh, because I never had one. I felt for like the last few years, I feel lonely, XYZ. What would that do for you personally,
Yeah.
finding something that? How does that allow you to feel? You see, so you gotta get deeper and deeper and deeper because the issue here is, again, obviously we don't have that leverage, but that's not the end of the world, I don't feel like. I feel like this guy is still someone who's very fucking sellable. I can see from this conversation, he's very sellable. He's someone who
Yeah.
easily could have bought. It's just about framing and touching the right points because he's telling you right here his biggest issue. Look, I as I said, I just need the reassurance that someone who doesn't have dark eyes can actually get this on. You see? So he's going back to the same issue he had because you haven't reassured him at all. And there's people you haven't even told them, hey, we have people that do. You haven't realistically. So how is he ever going to believe if you haven't even said that yourself? How is he going to have certainty and conviction if you haven't said that yourself?
Yeah.
That like, hey, like, yeah, we know exactly like these dark eye circles. Yeah, we know that. Cause like the one thing,
Because he keeps asking you to tell him something. And you're just
Yeah.
going back to like your sales process and objection on him, but you're not listening to what he's saying. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
I really want you to say this. And then you just go back to your objection on frame and ignoring him. Like he wants that. He needs that reassurance. So that's why it's so important to be active listening, to listen to what he's saying here.
when I'm on this bridge, so to speak, like I think something to get me past that bridge is speaking to kind of like my concerns, which have been like, oh, my
He's telling you how to objection handle him here, which is super funny. You see?
Don't make me feel dumb, JP.
You see? And it's just like, first thing she said, well, funny you say that, man. Like, of course we have people in your position that we've dealt with. We know exactly what we need to do to put you in the best position moving forward. Of course we do. You see? So again, give him that reassurance and that certainty.
my situation is so unique. Like it's my very specific genetics that put me in the predicament that I'm in for specifically for the dark eye circles. Like I know you could have like a regimen for like the full facial structure, like posture and stuff, which I don't underappreciate or undervalue. I'm obviously what brought me here the most is my biggest insecurity, which is in particular the dark eye circle. So
We should have said we got ways to fix that, which you do
Yeah.
regardless.
I did bring up like would you be the first person to fail, but super later on. I should have did that first, off. It should have been a reflex.
The longer they take to make that decision, the harder it becomes, right? As we mentioned, that fear in their belly doesn't go away; it just gets bigger. The longer they look at that, the skydiving analogy, as we mentioned, the longer they look down that plane, the harder it's going to become. So we're not pushing the needle quick enough here, which is causing us to lose the sale.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're looking for the regimen. Is it still a little bit of uncertainty around the investment, or is it just that it's some?
He just told you. Now you're going back to the process. You see? So
Yeah,
you hate-
that's been the biggest thing I've been working on with James and Cabe is just using their language and rather than just sticking to the script. I've memorized the script, but it's just application now. Like
And I
you
can
don't
see
need to
that.
go
I
down
can
the
see
whole
you have the
thing.
process dialed. This is less about the process dialed. Now it's more about like I think you might have it just in your brain. So like thinking about it all the time.
That's what it.
It's just like you're thinking about it all the time. Okay, where would JP go here? Like, what would he say? It's less about that. It's more like, what outcome is JP trying to get here? Okay, he's trying to get certainty. How can I give him certainty? Cool. I need to do this, this, and this. He just told me exactly what he needs for certainty. I'm going to do this now. Yeah.
Something else that comes up. Yeah.
Well, just hearing what we're talking about here, it's kind of like it's the overall, which like I said, I don't discount, I don't undervalue. It's like, oh, here's what we would do. Like this is just kind of what we.
And you could also build that on his way of thinking. Like again, if you don't have full certainty that like you guys have a solution for that, you can just start building that on that way of thinking. It's like, do you really think that's gonna be the only thing to make you find a girlfriend? Do you think they're just looking at eye bags, or do you feel like they're gonna be looking at the posture, the way you look, the way you walk into a room, all these different things that matter towards them actually picking the man for their life? You see? So you can then start creating uncertainty around his belief and his objections.
I see.
And start building certainty in the things you're saying. You know?
We always do like for everybody versus like specifically tailored to my specific issue. You know what I mean?
And that's
Do they get one-on-one coaching?
Yeah, they do. They get one-on-one coaching and they've like
Well, right
yes,
there,
they do
it's
get
like
one-on-one.
super simple. If for my specific situation, shit, why do you feel like we have one-on-one coaching? Just for fun? No, so we can give you a tailored plan to your specific situation so you can get the results you need and put yourself in the best position moving forward. You know,
Yeah.
right there, you can just pattern interrupt, get them in there.
So that's a really good point. And you mentioned something really powerful. It's the way you've been doing things in the past. But in order to get
Where are we going now? The process. I get it. You're following the process, but it's more about, okay,
Yeah.
I need to understand that in this specific situation, this is what he's needing, and I need to go to the outcomes of what he's needing.
different results, like you said earlier, you have to do what to be able to get different results? Something different. All right, man. And at the end of the day, what different decision do you feel like you need to make here so when your head hits your pillow tonight, you know that you're being able to put yourself personally in the best position to feel your best so you
It's
can
like
be
a
able
broken
to
record.
but also look your best.
Yeah.
What do I need to
And I'm
do?
not asking you to make not what decision do you feel like you need to at least or choose you need to step into so at least you know you can put yourself in the best position.
I'm confused, he says. Yeah, you got to be more clear with your words too. Slow down if you need
Yeah.
to. And then again, I know I speak fast, but it's because I've had thousands of times of me saying the same framework and word track and analogies and everything, and I know it off the back of my hand. Slow down if you don't know it
Yeah.
100%, right? You can just slow down. It's also more powerful. You see me in calls sometimes slow down when I get my point across. I'm like, well, what's that doing to you though? You see, so I slow down my tone, so it's more impactful in the process, more attentive in listening. You see?
Yeah. Understood.
Your tone is also very important. I know people like push tones aside, but it's also very important the way that your tone comes across in these conversations.
I'm a little confused, to be honest.
Really, what do you need clarification?
What do you mean exactly?
What I mean is this, right? When it comes to getting the help, right, and putting yourself in a better position to understand the right regimen for your eye bags, even look your best. I'm not asking you to like make the decision based off the way you have been, because if you do that, you're gonna get the same results. What different decision do you feel you would have to make to put yourself in a better position here and now so that things would look different?
It's to be on a track where I'm with somebody, I'm working under a coach or whatever that you know they know exactly what I'm doing. Because right now I'm just like throwing darts at the wall and seeing what sticks. You know what I mean? Like I think having a clarified structure for my particular specifics of my situation, or I think that would be encouraging.
Encouraging. Is that not what you're getting here?
Mm.
So again, you gotta get him to buy into the certainty of what he wants.
Yeah, and it just comes down to like, you know, what do you want to prioritize more? Do you want to? Because a lot of people are okay just throwing darts. Do you want to continue to throw darts, or do you actually want something that's going to be proven but also put you in the best position for yourself?
Right. Yeah. That's what I want, the latter of what you just said right there. Something that has proven results versus just willy-nilly going at things.
Okay, fair enough. So
And you're smart for saying that. So again, we wanna with that positive language so we get more of it.
when it comes to the actual investment, then like how would you like to proceed from here?
I'd say, like I said, just saying like, hey, like, yeah, we know, like, we've worked with dark guys.
He's asking you for it still. It's like, please tell me that you have worked with guys in my specific situation. That's all he wants.
Yeah.
That's all he wants. He's closable.
Yeah.
He's so closable here. You know, it's so closable.
Yeah.
Goes before, like, here's like a proof case right here. Here's like a couple proof cases.
Shit, you could even pull it up in the screen if you really need to. Again, I try to push towards that and give them certainty with my words. But again, it's this guy's just looking for a little bit of certainty to make that decision.
Yeah.
Like, I think
really and truly,
I never show
Sorry.
them something on the screen. I'm like, so you're telling me if I show you someone a similar situation as you, they got the result, you would make a decision right now and you would invest in the program so you can change your life. Is that what you're telling me? So I clarify 100% they're going to buy before I go out there and screen share and show them all these things, right? Because again, it just delays it if it isn't a guaranteed sale. I'm only going to do that if it's a guaranteed sale, you know? So that's all you're needing. Yes, that's all I'm needing. Cool. Okay, show the screen share. You know? If he can get that certainty, again, he'll make that decision. But he isn't getting that certainty from your words, or he isn't seeing that certainty. So those are the biggest things. Again, and you can easily do it through your words. The screen sharing is something I really go against unless I need to, and they're 100% going to close.
Are you telling me you're going to be the first person that comes in and doesn't get results?
I hope not. Shoot.
I would hope not either. No worries. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah.
Why'd you let him continue? He's okay. So this is the issue. If they're talking about negative things and creating objections, you never want to let them continue because they're just going to talk themselves into that objection, right? This is why I say, like, when someone is giving you the objection at the very beginning of the call, always cut them off and then say money out of the equation, like before they get to more objections. Because how many times have we let people speak at the very top, like, oh, I need to speak to my partner, and I want to go do this, and I want to go do that, and I want to
build up.
and they just continue to build so many objections and build so much uncertainty in you, it's very important to cut them off right away. And especially when you're asking a question like that, like, are you gonna be the first person to get the result? Obviously, you're not. But at the end of the day, what's going to put you in the best position to get the result? Is it making that decision, taking that step, or is it continue to think about it and push it away? So again, we can just follow it up with a frame to get him to make that decision.
Yeah.
That was the right thing to say, that you did give him certainty kind of there, because he's like, I hope not.
It took me 10 minutes to do it. I should have said that like earlier in the call.
Very true. Yeah, 100%. It's less about, but again, you got it across, which is I'm happy with, but it's just like, how do you follow that up to actually get him closer to paying you? You know, we're just like letting him speak now. Now he's just going to come up with more and more and more concerns.
I
Yeah.
would just say for me, for the only barrier for me in making that investment now is seeing, I think a proof case is something I'd like to see, or
It's so close here. You can see how close it is, you know? It's so close. He's literally telling you exactly what he needs.
if not a proof case with someone like in a similar situation as me, like speaking specifically to like the dark eye circles,
Yeah.
maybe like a sneak peek at like what I would be getting myself into that would be specifically addressed.
And that's why when he's saying, I need someone that's a testimonial specifically to eye circles, if we know we don't have that, we're just going to build that upon that. So again,
Yeah.
it's like, is that going to be the only thing that determines whether you get a woman or not? No. And then you reframe him on the things that will get him a woman. And the most important things are getting a woman or being confident, whatever his goal is. And then again, you go back to then showing him a proof case of someone who has got those results, which is look at their face before, look at their face after. You see?
Yeah.
Sing that, you know what I mean?
Mhm, fair enough. So the testimonial side, that's something I could easily be sent over to. Would you go ahead and proceed with it?
Out there.
Got it. Okay. So I need from you the biggest takeaways that you've taken away from this call that you're going to actually be actionable points that you can work on moving into the next few weeks so we can actually get some plan in place.
Yeah. Stop following a script. Like I have like the script memorized A to Z,
Yeah.
but it's just memorizing the outcomes.
Yeah.
So I've been
Right there.
memorizing outcomes so I can know what to fast
And
forward
just
if I get the right thing.
active listening. They're telling, like he's telling you, you know? And
Yeah.
this is a very easy prospect compared to a lot of people that you would get. Like most people don't like to tell you that he's telling you. He's being very open and honest with you. That's why it's very important that be active listening with everybody, right? Because even the people that just tell you a little bit, like this again, a more open prospect. You have to be even more of an active listener with more of the harder prospect who only tell you little tints of issues they have. You get me?
I do.
Okay.
100%.
So active listening. What else?
Tonality or no, sorry, like tonality is obvious, but rewarding like for lack of a
Good
good
language.
behavior, good language,
Yep.
building them up there, and I'd say lastly, and just be more confident. Like even if you're not necessarily as confident as you are as you're selling, but it comes across the camera if you're not confident. So
100%. Yeah. Because again, they're looking for that trusted authority. And if we aren't being that,
yeah,
how are they going to have any certainty at the end of the day? But yes, obviously we didn't get to review discovery. That's something we can do on another session. And it's going to be very important to go over your discovery, see how it is, because I think there's also a lot of things that you probably caused or certainly you did not build, because this could have easily been a zero objection close. I feel like, right? If we did the right steps in discovery, obviously we haven't reviewed that yet, but I think it'll be very important to go back over that in our next session where we can go over maybe what you said, didn't say, didn't ask, or maybe what you did to trigger those objections by asking the same repeated questions. That's another issue that we had is with at the active list, we were asking repeated questions and that got them frustrated.
yeah. What are your takeaways from it? Like in terms of like overall?
Yeah, overall, you have a solid, like, I'm not worried. I'm not like, oh, this guy's fucked. Like, don't worry, bro. I'm giving you just harsh feedback because I want you to improve. What I'm saying is, hey, you
Yeah.
have the framework down. Now you just need to listen on the conversation and be active rather than thinking about the framework so much. It's like, how do you get to the point where the framework isn't like where you have to think about it so much and more you can be active listening? And that's all. Like, if you can make that switch and learn how to be, not so much reactive, I don't like that word, but more proactive in conversations where you're listening and then you're able to reply based on what they're saying, then you're gonna get way better.
Sweet. Respect, bro.
Great, bro. Amazing. But yeah, bro, again, good job. You're only gonna get better from here. It's only one session. We're gonna fucking crush it. And if you need anything, DM me.
Yeah, man. For sure, man. God bless.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, man. Bye-bye.